Peace, love, and light, African people. It is the Goddess Sneak Night. This is the Blackest truth, where I take the not so easy topic of racism, white supremacy, break it down and make it easier for us to maneuver through. We have our newest partner, our latest partner after C Omega. We have Healed Thyself with Lynietra Woods. How are you doing, Queen? Could you tell us about yourself?
I'm all right. I am a massage therapist located in Cypress, Texas, and I've been into health and wellness for about the last 5 years.
Nice, nice. Now, how did you get into health and wellness?
Well, it started when I lost 100. Well, it started when my kids told me I was overweight and I was, fat. They were much younger, and I lost 100 pounds. And I decided to pay it forward, my knowledge and everything that I learned forward to other people who were struggling with the same weight loss goals and, not feeling comfortable in their own skin.
Wow. So if you don't mind, where were you at the time when your children were telling you this?
I was in my mid-20s. I was 25. Like, no lie, I was 25 years old, and I was still here in Houston. And I was, just really going through a lot of life transitions within myself, within my external world and everything like that. And it all kind of combined. And it was something I had to deal with at that point because I was even tired of myself. Mm-hmm. Really, I was.
Okay. So your children told you about the weight and then...
Yes, they told me about the weight and how it would affect them, kids making fun of them and things. And the defining moment was, them really sitting me down, and like, I have a son and a daughter, and they did this as a family intervention kind of thing. And they, told me, Mom, you grown when you go up and down the stairs. You don't spend a lot of time with us because you're so tired all the time. And you spend a lot of time sleeping, but when you go to sleep, you stop breathing. Mm-hmm. So it was that part that, it really got through to me because my kids were asking for me to do something different. And a lot of times we get asked to do something different with ourselves, and it's not us who's doing the asking, but somebody sent that message to us, and it happened to come by way of my kids.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that is so interesting. So now your children tell you about the weight loss, and how does it translate into becoming a massage therapist?
Well, after, I lost the weight and I did personal training, I realized it was a gap into what I was doing. I had one client in particular, we would make progressions, and then all of a sudden he would regress, and regress into pain. He was a former pitcher. And so I just, I really listened to him and took into account what he was saying. And I said, okay, well, today we're just going to stretch. We're going to do something different. And it was really intuitive, but I just so happened to kind of put my arm and my hand, my fist right where it needed to be, and it released the muscle. And he felt a whole lot better, looked a whole lot different within a matter of 10 minutes. And he was able to go home. He said he could lay on his sides and go to sleep. Because one of the things he would complain about was that he would want to take his arms off like a Barbie doll, like you could pop their arms off. He want to take his arms off at night so he could sleep comfortably. So, he was speaking about how his quality of life was affected because he couldn't even sleep.
Wow. Okay. So you do massage therapy and you have your brand Heal Thyself. Where was the beginning of that, and the name even? How did that come about?
Well, because I was looking into other forms of healing at this point, because I was like, okay, that whatever little trick, because at the time for me, it was just a trick. It was something I had just done. It worked. And I was like, okay, there's a word for this, it's massage. So let's go and find that out. And I was digging into other healing methods. And I realized what I had done was I had healed myself with the weight loss, with the journey of going through all of that, and there were limiting beliefs that I had that had me holding on to some weight. There were situations that I was hiding from, you know, with my weight and with the disordered eating and lack of eating and things like that, you know, and coming to terms with that, because I believe all of us have a spot in us for healing. We just have to find it instead of looking at external forces all the time.
Nice, nice. I love that. Yesterday when we were speaking, we were talking about massages being seen as kind of like a luxury thing.
Yes, and that really makes me very sad, and a lot of my other, you know, massage therapists that I know, it makes us sad when people only consider themselves to feel good when they behave or when they're allowed to. And that's not what the intention is. You are a luxury. You are your own luxury, because if you don't feel well, you're not presenting your best self. You're not putting in your most effort. So massage is more than just a luxury expense. It's quality and taking care of yourself, quality and actually dealing with things that really irk and tighten and pinch those nerves and address, because whatever's bothering us outside eventually comes inside. And you know, most of the time it's already inside anyway, and it's reflecting in our external world.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Now, as far as your Instagram page, because we were talking about it, the rebranding of it not being kind of like this ethereal clouds in the background. You know how it is, stones with bamboo.
Yes. Now there's a place for all of those things, but my practice is not what we consider a fluff and buff. You're not going to come in and be on this envision of bed and pillows and, you know, I'm just working away your daily worries. No, we're actually getting to work. It's actually a legitimate reason that every time you go to work or you go to this place or you experience this feeling that's manifesting in your body. So we're getting to those things so you can address and deal with it. So the next day you see or deal with another particular situation that puts you in that pattern, you're out of it. And you can say, okay, I know my breathing, I know my drills, I know what exercises I need to do, I know what stretches I need to do to not allow this to affect me and carry on into my body.
Nice, nice. I love it. Do you have any of those stories where outside of the picture where someone says like you are the reason why their whole life has changed? Like had they not met you, it would not be like this.
Yes. So back to my picture, he believed in what was happening and how he felt, to where now I massage him, his mother at the time before Corona, and a few other of their family members and friends. And a lot of them have had chronic neck pain. And I mean, chronic, years and years chronic, going to the chiropractor chronic, going to this doctor for steroid shots chronic. And they're either off their meds or they've minimized the meds that they're taking, or they don't go get their steroid shots anymore. They don't have to have that experience in their life. You know, they can manage this stuff and they're comfortable. They're able to sleep. And that's one of the key things for anyone is sleep.
Mm-hmm. Good Lord, I love me some good sleep.
Who doesn't?
Get away, you know, it's like that Facebook. If you don't watch it, you can get too much of it. But man.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what is some things that we can expect to see from you within TBT Gang? What are you wanting to bring to the group, to who we are and what we currently already do?
Well, I would like to bring the aspect of looking at our own well-being from a different view. Because I feel like in our community, we depend too heavily on what the doctor says. When the doctor by nature has only gone to school to study symptoms. That's all they're treating. They're not looking at the root causes and other lifestyle factors that are bothering you and putting you in this dis-ease and discomfort. So I would like to bring, just a good solid case of, hey, are you checking in with yourself? Are you feeling whole today? And here's some tips as to how I can, you can help facilitate that for yourself without having to always rely on whatever pill in a bottle that you've been prescribed that isn't going to work anyway and typically has some more side effects to it. And this is no disrespect to any doctor or medical treatment at all, because I quite welcome when people can tell me, well, my doctor said I have this, and okay, well, this is what we can work on. I can formulate a plan in my mind in conjunction with what's happening. And so the body's able to be like, oh, I don't need that anymore. I don't need what this particular doctor says, because now your body's in tune, and I actually got you, body and you, to hear me, to hear what it's saying to itself, if that even makes sense.
Of course. I love it. I remember the first time I heard about holistic health.
Mm-hmm.
I was still a believer. And this is no disrespect to you if you still are. This is just where I was at. And I was speaking to the first lady. I was speaking to the first lady of the church, who was a psychologist. Mm-hmm. And she was just talking about how a lot of times the doctors approach dis-ease on a just a natural realm, just kind of like, you need to eat this, not eat this, take these pills. And she talked about how she was a psychologist, but also being somebody spiritual, she would take that same patient and then she would parallel it to, now let's discuss some of the things that you've been through that you might be carrying along with this genetic issue, with this biological issue.
Exactly.
That, because it matters. It's all relative.
Yes, because for me, I feel like in Western medicine, they want to separate body and person.
Mm-hmm.
And in Eastern medicine or massage realm, you can't do that, because it's easy to get a massage, get up off the table, you feel great, endorphins release, you're amazing. But then let's say you go right back to your stressor. You didn't learn anything. You did not learn to pay attention to what actually is triggering your body into that initial response. Then you haven't necessarily learned how to cope with that initial response. So it's gonna be an ongoing thing, and you can't separate the two. I remember this one particular time I had a client, and he's still a client. We actually had to have honest conversation. He would come to the session and he would book 2 hours. We would work on his, situation. He would go to sleep. I don't know how, but he would find a way to go to sleep. He told me he was getting out of my way. And I was like, okay, cool. And then a couple of days later, he would call me and he would kind of be upset. Lyn, what did you do to me during the session? I feel this over here. I feel, new sensations. And I said, well, and then if not a new sensation, it would come back. Whatever the issue that he came to see me about that week was, it would come back. And I had to be honest with him. Well, are you still doing the same lifestyle factors? Are you still not taking into account certain people actually are irking your nerve? Are you taking into account that every time you deal with this person, it makes your stomach hurt? And those were things we actually had to have a come together moment as a practitioner and him as a client, and have a discussion about, for him to finally make it make sense, because he just wasn't getting it. And I was like, yeah, there's only so much I can do. You feel great, but then if you're still not doing your part, then there's nothing. You brought your own situation back without even dealing with everything.
Sis, you had to make it plain for him. You had to make it plain.
Yes, very plain. I had to make it plain.
Right.
Perfect. So for any of you who do not know, you have a membership known as TBT Gang, the Blackest Truth Gang, located on Facebook. Within this private membership, we have a host of things, movie nights. We recently saw Blackest King. I don't know if you were able to watch that with us, Queen, but we were.
I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Okay, well, we might do a rerun because it's so good. We might like just rewatch it. It was a couple of us on the video. It was a couple of us on the movie night, but we do virtual movie nights, virtual game nights. We're about to have a meet and greet. The Blackest Truth, the private membership essentially is a place, family, for us to go in the midst of racism, white supremacy, because it's not going anywhere. And it gives us access to people like the Queen Lyn, who can let us know that sometimes the sickness or the that you're going through aren't simply only biological, or they're not simply only on a cellular level. And, you know, some of those things, like she said, irking your nerves, you're carrying it in your body. So if you are someone who's interested in TBT, or you're interested in a private membership, we would love to have you as a member, to add as an asset to the group, but also to help us get on the journey of not only healing ourselves, but being what we need to be.
But it's got to start somewhere, and we actually have to have safe spaces within our community, within ourselves, within our homes and everything. And that's most of the time what people are fighting for, and they don't even realize it, is to actually have hey, am I the only one thinking this, or is this only me? I mean, it's really crazy. It really is crazy.
And it's so many of us that have moments or are going through things where if we had, like you said, a safe space to say, am I the only one going through this right now? Then other people will just put like a little period under, like, me too. You know, because we don't want to raise our hand. We'll just put like a little period.
Exactly.
The eyes.
I think it's beyond time that, you know, we actually are just able to create a space where everyone is just able to be honest with how they're feeling, even if it's the not so nice feelings, because there's a reason we have them anyway, and it's a part of our human experience. And until we talk about it, address it, it's going to remain a dis-ease for us.
Right. And it's time. This is what those things that we need. We were talking about yesterday on the phone, just these extra bits and pieces of our community where we keep cutting these corners. It might seem subtle in a time, or I'm just gonna, you know, sweep it under the rug. We'll talk about it later, or we got too much going on right now to discuss it, or we don't have money to address it, or all these cutting corners. After a while, they build and they add, and next thing you know, you look up, you have these issues going on with yourself. I think I mentioned having to get surgery to have lipomas removed, non-cancerous growths, and then talking to a good friend of mine, she was like, see, sis, massages are not a luxury, they are a necessity. She was the one who taught me that. She was the one that let me know you need to budget getting a massage in every single month, like budget it in like a bill. It's that important, because things that we're going through in life, especially as Black people, especially as Black women, you know, many of us have things going on in our systems right now that will show themselves in another 10, 15 years.
Yeah, exactly. I think about all of those, you know, things, especially because I have a daughter, and I think about the influences that she's under, and me having studied dis-ease and how it just continues to manifest on top of itself, until then it's a chronic condition, you know, some type of cancer or something like that. And I'm not saying that, you know, to those who have it, it's not a real thing. It's not a, you know, a disrespect or anything, but all of that stuff starts typically as something that bothered us. And generationally, we will look at another family member, do the same thing. It's like, even in movement patterns, I've watched it. I can look at 3 generations of women, and I can tell the grandmama looked at the mama, who looked at the daughter. You know, all these people were watching each other, and they all have the same patterns of movement: shoulders slumping down, losing height, or you just however situations manifest themselves.
Oh my gosh. And sis, could you speak about, before we head out of here, I'm gonna tell you a story. I'm gonna tell y'all a story rather. Could you speak on anything that you might have seen and where this was relative with one of your patients? I remember I was working at a place where we had to stand up a lot. We stood up all day. It was kind of like a luxury to sit down. And when you did sit down, it was like indicative on you not working. So you had to get right back up. And I remember two of my coworkers had asked me one time, like, why are your shoulders always tense? Like, why are you always tense in the shoulders? Like, relax your shoulders. Like, I was like this. And I didn't even know it. And then my coworkers, like literally, I had two guy coworkers that would come to me. They would touch my shoulders and they just push them down. And the fact that they could even push them down meant that they were up and I didn't know. And I just thought that, y'all just try to be super deep, super extra, I want to be a physical therapist head ass. That's what I thought it was. Y'all just up in college majoring up in physical education. Really think y'all got something going on, But it was real. Like,
it is, yes. It was the transition. So that was a movement pattern, and your compensation for having to stand was to put the burden on your shoulders. Because at that point, it wasn't even your back line of body that was holding you up. It was your traps, because it was an energy transfer. And all you did was shift that pain from your feet up to your shoulders and neck, because it took over for the bottom part of your body. So you could stand those hours. And I mean, simple as that. The impact of standing affects all the way up the back line of the body, the sacrum, the low back, the lumbar spine, all of that stuff. And we live in gravity. So compression plus our inability to go into ourselves, into the solid ground, right there, creates havoc that people don't even pay attention to. Because they're like, oh, just my feet. No. It's not just your feet. It's your neck, your back, all of that, all the way up the posterior chain. Because a lot of times, we as regular people, because I was a regular person before I became a trainer, before I went in depth into studying more into anatomy, I was a regular person. I was like, oh, my back hurts. I'm going to just pay attention to right here. No, it's a reason that part in particular is crying for pain, but it has nothing to do with it necessarily. It's just a piece of the puzzle.
Thank you, sis. Look, I love that. I really do. I know we said we kind of goofy on one end. We like to be funny.
Yeah.
But I'm serious, because, again, these are those corners that we're cutting. Imagine how many people don't know that in our carrying.
Imagine how many people look at me stupid when I say that to them. When I make it that plain, because I ask, well, what do you do all day? How do you spend most of your time? And, well, I'm at my desk. I'm at my computer. Well, of course, you're at your desk looking down, at your computer. So you're going to kind of tend to lean in, and I'm finding myself do it down. That's why I'm commenting on it. Because I was like, oh, I'm crouching, but I'm looking down, trying to lean in. So my shoulders, breast, everything else is collapsing into my rib cage, and I'm kind of folding into myself. But people spend their life in a box, at the desk, at the computer, or hunched over whatever workstation, and they don't realize that they're working themselves into that pattern as well. Because not only that, they're dealing with nasty customers or however, and these things still come in to our body. So,
and that's a real one, especially for myself, just as an influencer, when I'm editing or when I'm reading comments, or I'm supposed to have my glasses on as well, but when you do your glasses in your video, you got your...
I know, and I'm struggling with that too. Look, I didn't struggle with it, but I'm like, I gotta do it, because I can't be on here. Look, can't be on here squinting and
right
doing it.
But see, last night what happened was, when I was going home, I started getting ice pick headaches, and I already know that means I'm not wearing my glasses enough. That was how I actually found out that I needed glasses, because I kept getting these sharp pains in the side of my cranium. So it's all kind of like an effect. This signals off this, and this checks off that.
To this. And I will send you some frequencies that you can listen to when you do get those migraine headaches. Because that's another thing. We don't understand how frequencies actually affect, can alter and help with our pains and with other things, because it's a lot of times people, they just don't want you to know that you have the key to do whatever you want with your wellness. Your health is your wealth. That's why that saying is what it is.
Wellness, yes. And I love that. And look, could you not only send them to me, could you post them in TBT?
Yes, I sure will. I will be posting the things that I use to help ground myself, because even as a health, I don't always have it. I'm not even going to be the first one to lie and be like, I'm always in. No, I'm not. No, I'm not, because my name is not Jesus. If that's who you believe in, I'm not him. I'm not him. I'm working on it, but I'm not there yet. So I still, have stressful days, and I still have things that I need to attend to, adulting and things like that, parenting and mothering, taking care of myself, things that create stress. And I need every bit of self-care, every bit of management for myself, and things that I can do that don't even necessarily have to cost me money until I can get to booking my massage with my massage therapist. Because I know Corona has affected a lot of things. And sometimes, my therapist, she wasn't taking people right away. She has like a 3-month hold off. And there are only certain people I allow to be in my atmosphere like that. So I will surely be posting what I use. I will be talking about how important sleep is, and talking about how we need to just really nourish ourselves and are afforded that in spite of what society tells us.
Right. I love it. I love that. Please, because the goal is always healing, actual healing, and actually being the source of our own solutions. This type of work that we're discussing, this type of work, what I'm trying to build as far as being created, essentially it's not something that white people are responsible for doing for Black folks, are not anything that white people are invested in doing for us. To heal ourselves is to defund a lot of organizations that currently make millions and billions of dollars. To teach ourselves would take away an entire industry of jobs. So to do for self is major when we think about it growing into something larger. To be able to do for self is something big. And this is what I feel like we should all be on. Again, not only with massage therapy, also, like you said, Queen, with the music, with the food, with finance, with even fun, with TV. Well, I do videos about Netflix and this movie, lying about our history, or this movie doing this. And it's honestly nobody's responsibility to put out the true depiction of our history but us. So
Right.
I'm excited. I'm excited to have you, Lyn. I appreciate you. First of all, thank you. As an entrepreneur, it's not easy. It's not, though. Some of them days.
breaking these generational diseases is not comfortable. It is not. That's why we need the tools to to take care of this, to help us with this discomfort and this disease. Because as soon as you tell somebody you're an entrepreneur, you get that backlash of, oh, you're an entrepreneur Negro. No, that is not what I said. I said I'm an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. Why anything about a Negro had to pop up?
Right. Mm-hmm. And what it is they just see something in you that they don't see in themselves. You willing to put in the work?
Yeah. The painstaking, the days of, I don't even know if I'm gonna eat. Yeah, those days. Those days
where you make, the weeks, the months where you make no money. No money.
Yes. Oh yes, I know those days. Look, I know those days.
You having to go to the ER because you have no insurance.
Well, look, I'm gonna heal. I'm gonna throw myself on a foam roller first. I'm I'm gonna do something first. I'm gonna stretch. I'm gonna get some distance bath. And what is it? I'm gonna go find the frequency. I'm gonna do something, an essential oil, something.
Right.
But yes, that's one of the things definitely that I would really like for us as Black people to pay attention to. Like, hey, it's just because this sister is doing massage, don't debunk what she's doing. Try to actually listen and learn and things like that, because it's so many levels to being human, to the human experience, period. It's just so many levels.
Right. And it's a beautiful experience. I don't know about you, sis, but I daily just have to say life is good. Life is so good.
It really is. And I mean, even on my worst days, even on my days where, you know, it's just really kind of like, in most people that I would particularly know, those people who don't see it in themselves, they would say, you know, I'm just gonna quit. I'm gonna give up. And I'm just like, you know, well, thank you for allowing me to get over this hurdle, because I know in order for me to get to where I'm really going, I have to experience things to be able to accept it, to appreciate all of my hard work, all of my efforts, all of my survival skills, you know, the ones that serve me properly.
Right. Like in moments like that, you say, just thank you for even allowing this to be an issue. A couple of years ago, this wouldn't even have been an issue that I had, because I wouldn't have even been in this area of life.
Exactly. And that's the truth of it. Because sometimes I sit back and I'm like, you know what, a year ago, I wouldn't have even had my office space to be upset, you know, to be sad for when Corona came. I wouldn't have even had, you know, wow, I wouldn't have had anything to fall back on if I was working in an office, because it was so many people who were just sitting at home. It was a lot of people who during that time didn't know what to do with themselves. And I was like, hey, I do this on a daily. It's called do what you know, plan and time manage for yourself instead of allowing someone else to do it for you.
Right.
Those kind of things. Really important.
Oh, I'm sorry, sis. I was going to say, in a biological aspect, what we were saying in classes, it's about survival of the fittest.
Yes, it is. It is. And you still, even in your survival, have to stop, take a self-inventory, self-check, and see what's going on with you. With you, not with what your boss said, what your spouse said, what your kids said, with you.
Self. Heal thyself. I love that. And on that, where can we find you? Where exactly, if we are looking for you on social media, where do we need to go?
Well, you can go and find me at HealThy Self Fitness and Massage on Instagram.
Nice.
I have a page there, and you can kind of look and review my thoughts and what I attribute to health and wellness, and kind of see some pictures of the work that I've done on people.
I love it. So we can find you on Instagram and Facebook, you said.
Yes. Okay. And on Facebook, it's Healthy Self Fitness, because there was a while when it wasn't, and massage. So I kind of haven't blended the two. Facebook got rules. It's okay. It's all good. The logo, the picture match.
Right. Facebook got so many rules. I have people on my feed every day. They in community standards guidelines. They done broke. They in jail. They just got released from Facebook jail.
Oh, I did. I got released from Facebook jail the other day. I was like, oh, okay, but this y'all picture, I got it from another group. So how am I in jail? It's okay. Girl. It's okay.
I could do a whole video about the racism on Facebook, but look, I'm gonna say that, so when they pay me a couple of checks, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna talk.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna talk my smack after I get my money.
Monetize me.
Yeah, you know, I ain't no whole fool out here. I ain't no whole one out here. I might act up sometimes, but you know, I have to have a little wisdom, just a slight bit.
See, look, remember when I said I ain't there yet? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, because I don't mind telling people exactly my thoughts.
Right.
That's why I had to break it plain for that client. Yeah, I'm finna look. Okay, this is what it is, son. This is what it is, sir. This is what it is. So yeah, right. I'm that friend. I'm that one.
Yeah, and we need them. It's a lane for everybody. You need that friend. I need that friend. My homegirl that told me about the massages, she's that friend for me. And when I don't want to be here, I know you don't want to hear what I'm saying, but I need you to listen. I need you to listen.
Oh yeah. But I say that same thing, like friend. Do you even hear you? Because I hear you. I'm hearing you, and we about to talk about it. Because I love you, friend. Because at the end of the day, it's all love. At the end of the day, it's all really love.
Love that. Shout out to the sisterhood for that. And I want to end off this video with this. If you are a Black woman who does not have a unit of at least 2 or 3 other Black women, a sisterhood group, a sister circle, where just women that you could just call on and depend on, man, that is another part of healing that you're missing. It's just certain things that only women can understand, only we can speak to, only we can see, address, have the authority to just kind of like hit the nail on the head. Our brothers are good for things, but our sisters are as well. So have you some good sisters around.
Yes, and we need them.
Right. Is there anything you would like to say, Queen, to end us off? Anything that's on your heart? Anything that you just feel like would close us out good? I want to leave it with you, if that's okay.
I wasn't prepared. If anything, I would like to leave you all with a simple breathing drill that you can do. And when you're feeling stressed out, for those of us who sit lots and lots of hours at a desk throughout the day or at working from home and making that adjustment, a simple breathing drill is called box breathing. And when you do it, it helps you to calm your nervous system, reset yourself, and you're also better able to manage and sit up a little straighter and take some pressure off your lungs. So you'll inhale for 4 seconds and exhale through a straw for 6 seconds. And that also helps to calm and reset your diaphragm. And that's just a little something you can do 2 or 3 times a day, or when you're feeling like you need a little, okay, I'm almost there, to calm yourself.
That is nice. So inhale for 4 seconds. And then release through a straw.
For 6.
Yeah, for 6 seconds.
And that's also doing an abdominal core exercise for those deep abdominals that everyone wants to get to, but they don't necessarily know how to work. So it's kind of double duty. It's going to strengthen the lumbar and strengthen the core, and also calm the nervous system.
I love it. I'm going to start using that today. It feels good.
Yes, it does. It feels very good.
It does feel good. Well, perfect. Thank you so much, Lyn, for not only signing up for TBT Gang, but for your time doing this interview. We look forward to seeing what you post in the group. We've already welcomed you. You know, you already got your welcome message, and everybody's let you know that we're happy to have you. Shout out to all of our other partners, Lakia, Desir, Courtney, Omega. I am so excited and happy to have you all in the group as well. And if you are interested, look down in the description box below. And if you're not even interested in becoming a partner, you just want to be a member, you just want to be there to experience all of the goodness and just post various random things of Blackness, or if you even do something, that's also an option. Look down below in the description, guys, and you'll see all of the information. It is the Goddess Night. This is the Blackest Truth. I hope y'all have a great day. Bye.